Greetings, good evening, and if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, you are one win away from finally not hearing about how Tampa Bay is a bunch of chokers, at least until next year, because it comes back. It does. It really does. But hey, tonight, big night for Tampa Bay, and they came back from being behind a couple of times in this game. They showed a lot of fight, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. The right team won tonight. I don't need Money Puck to tell me what the odds were of either team winning to say who the best team was tonight. I'll go ahead and throw these up here. So they just posted these. All right. No argument with any of those picks. Quite the game tonight. And I'm jogging on the treadmill before the games, and I'm not kidding you. I did a half a mile, and if anybody asks why isn't it in kilometers, I don't know. Ask the manufacturers of my treadmill. But I did a half a mile during the anthems, not making it up. First, the American anthem was by one of the guys from Boys to Men. I don't know. I never listened to Boys to Men, so I don't really care. And he was making up his own notes. It's one of those things where you hear somebody singing it and you're like, so you've heard the anthem before, right? You've heard it? Why aren't you singing it that way? And then for the Canadian anthem, they had Sarah McLachlan, and I was like, oh, good. And I know Sarah McLachlan's a national treasure and all, but she definitely has that lilt she puts into each line. And I thought, if we were trying to sing along with her, we can't do that with our voice. So again, both anthems seem to take forever. Just like me describing it. All right. So good start for the point line again. Braden Point had another really, really good game. And right out of the gate, it was clear that Tampa wanted this. They wanted it badly. Bonus was juggling the lines. Tampa left things pretty much the same. Obviously, Stamkos being out, that changes the lines, but Stamkos only played a few minutes in the last game anyways. So things are pretty much the way that they were in the last game for Tampa. The shots were 3-0 Bolts at 7 minutes, but on their first shot, John Klingberg at 7:17. And it looked like a harmless play, and he just went in and put it in the net. So, all right, if you're going to give Klingberg a shot like that, he'll take it. Kucherov had a break that was denied by Hudobin, and Tampa Bay was pressuring. Both teams doing a lot of shot blocking early on. Tampa Bay had a 4-on-2 that just missed. Pressure by Tampa Bay drew a penalty on Alexiak. I didn't think Jamie Alexiak had a great game. I didn't think Jamie Benn had a great game either. I think there were a few players in Dallas tonight that, in the Dallas locker room tonight, that are going to be mad at their game tonight. So there was a near miss for Johnson after the power play ended. He was high-sticked on that, or at least he complained to the referee that he was. Pavelski would then score from Ben and Radulov at 18:28. And it's against the flow of the play, and it's only the third shot of the period for Dallas. So they're up 2-0. They've only had 3 shots. Tampa had 7 to that point. And it looked like, hey, this could be one of those games that Dallas steals it when they have no business winning it. But Braden Point scores from Palat and Shattenkirk at 19:28. Absolutely beautiful breakaway goal and a huge, huge goal on a set play by Tampa Bay. And this is one of those things. Now Tampa Bay's in this place where when they're down, they still find a way to get those goals they need. Last year against Columbus, famously, they just could not get those goals when they needed them, and they went out with barely a whimper in Game 4. This year, this is a completely different team. Second period, early penalty by Alexiak again. The second Tampa Bay power play, and they score on it. Braden Point from Galore and Kucherov at 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And that penalty kill for Dallas tonight just wasn't getting it done. Now, it is without Faksa. Faksa is a major part of that penalty kill. And it would be without another player pretty quickly in this game, too. Tampa Bay pushes 3 minutes in. Huge momentum shift. Hudobin stopped a Killorn one-timer. Hintz gets shaken up. He had stepped on Johnson's stick, and there was some debate about whether or not he should have been penalized. But he crashes into the boards rather ugly, and Rope Hintz would leave the game, and he didn't return. So that's a huge blow to Dallas, who have already had issues with some of their top scorers producing enough. But Hintz plays both sides of the ice really well in the offensive zone and defensive zone, and he's a key penalty killer. And it's another blow for Dallas. Shots were 9-3 Tampa, 7 minutes into that period. However, Perry scores from Sagan and Janmark at 8:26. So it's their 7th shot. It's the first goal in 19 games for Perry. And it was a nice follow-up on a play by Sagan. And that puck was lingering around the crease, and Perry puts it in. So it's 3-1 for Dallas, and they only have 7 shots. And so again, I'm thinking, if Dallas wins this, they don't really have much business being in this. But Vasilevsky then denied Kamano as Dallas started getting chances. So now Dallas with the 3-1 lead. The confidence is there for them, and they start to play like a team that's got a 3-1 lead. Chernak takes a penalty. The Stars' power play, 1 for 11 in the final coming into tonight. It is a problem. You can have a cold power play. You can have problems penalty killing. You can't have both. And Dallas right now, they have both. The special teams are absolutely obliterating them in this Stanley Cup final. So Hintz still off, as I mentioned. 3 shots for that power play. They're 1 for 12 at that stage. And Point, absolutely a beast tonight. Shots were evening up in the second half. Stars pressuring. Vasilevsky stopped a Klingberg point shot. Cogliano takes a penalty with 2:26 left. And it's Tampa's third power play. And it's, there's the timing of the penalties by Dallas. There's the carelessness of some of these penalties where you just, what are you doing? Why are you taking the penalty there? And that's the problem. If it's going to be a good penalty, it should be something that denies the other team a scoring chance. It should be just really hard play and maybe a guy crosses the line a little bit. But these penalties tonight, they were not great. And Tampa made him pay for it. Yanni Gourde scores from Kucherov and Sergachev at 18:54 on the power play. And here's the thing. Esa Lindell blocks the shot. Kicks it straight to Gourde. And you could see Hudobin wasn't happy because he was ready for that shot. But his defenseman kicks it right out to somebody else that he wasn't ready for. And it was mentioned that he overcommitted to the initial shot that was blocked. And therefore he was out of position for the Gourde shot. But this is one of those times where I look at blocked shots and I say, blocked shots are a mixed blessing. Because your goaltender generally will stop about 91, 92% of the shots that he can see. And for these guys that go out there and they block, sometimes they make it worse with the block. And in this case, Lindell did. So for Tampa, this is a tie game going into the third. And they likely felt somewhat fortunate that it was because Dallas was getting better. They had been outplayed, but it's an even score. Third period, Tampa Bay had the early edge, and of course, as I've said, Hintz doesn't return. Kivi Ranta almost becomes the hero again, but Hedman makes that save on the goal line. He may very well be getting that Conn Smythe, although it's going to be hard not to give it to Point or Kucherov because both of them are over the 30-point mark now. Again, as I mentioned in the preview this morning, there are so many players we can look at in the Tampa Bay lineup and say, well, he could get Conn Smythe. He could get it? Well, he could. And in the 3 stars tonight, none of the guys we're talking about for Conn Smythe are in the 3 stars. So that tells you this has been a really good team effort for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Killorn gets a goal from Sergachev and Cirelli at 6:41. It was a beautiful goal right under the bar, far corner. No chance for Hudobin on that one. The Stars had been held to 2 shots 8 minutes in. Maroon cursed very loudly when he was called. Penalty was called. So we've discussed since they started these games in August that they garble up the audio on swearing. I don't know about the American feed, but the Canadian feed here, you could clearly hear, "Are you effing kidding me, Kelly?" Kelly Sutherland calls a penalty. He looks right at the referee and says it, yelled it at him. It was one of the funniest things I've heard because remember, we don't have fans in attendance, so you could clearly hear it. And it was great. And I had to write, he was not. As in, he was not kidding. The only thing that could have made this better would have been Kelly Sutherland going, "I was kidding, you scamp. Just go back to the bench. I was kidding. I got you. You thought I was calling a penalty. I wasn't. Let's have the face-off at center ice. Let's go, everybody." So, what ends up happening is Dallas doesn't score on the power play, but Pavelski scores the second of the night from Sagan and Heiskanen. So Sagan with 2 helpers. I thought Tyler Sagan had the best game he's had of the playoffs tonight. I did. Which is weird because I thought Jamie Benn didn't have a great game. I thought Radulov had an okay game. But again, that makes Joe Pavelski, with his 12th goal, the oldest player in NHL history to score 12 goals in the playoffs. So kudos to Pavelski. He's been fantastic for Dallas. I don't have any complaints about Pavelski's play tonight. I really don't. That one, actually, it bounced off Shattenkirk into the net. Initially, they thought it might have bounced off Sagan, but it didn't touch Sagan. So it's Pavelski's goal. Dangerous Bolts chance with 4:45 left. And Hudobin just, when he's coming out of the net and getting back in, and I don't know what it was with him, overplaying pucks and over-committing and what was going on, but not the sharpest game for Hudobin tonight. Again, if you're looking at goal scorers for Tampa Bay, you got a couple of goals by point. You got Gord, you've got Galore. They've got a lot of guys who could score goals, so it's easy to throw stones at the goaltender for Dallas, except that Tampa's kind of been scoring at will throughout most of these playoffs anyways. So Dallas is just the 4th team that suffered through this. So Vasilevsky denied Radulov. Perry and Point then exchanged penalties in the final minute. That sends it to a 4-on-4, but we go to overtime. In the overtime, Sagan immediately drew a penalty. Like I said, Sagan, very, very good game for him. So Sergachev goes to the box for holding. He didn't like it. Dallas calls a timeout. They have 55 seconds of 4-on-3 play. They don't get a goal. They don't get the goal 5-on-4 either. And I thought, you know what? That's really solid penalty kill by Tampa. That's going to come back to haunt Dallas. And then the Bolts had pressure on a delayed penalty. Ben goes to the box. Jamie Benn was just cursing up a storm on his way to the box. Not agreeing with the call. I did. I thought, yeah, that's... And again, once they've called a penalty in the overtime to one team, be very careful if you're the other, because a referee will always try to even it up. And I know we don't like it as fans, but they do. They try to make sure, okay, if this team gets a penalty, I'll keep an eye on the other team too. I want to keep things as easy as possible. The problem is, Dallas's power play was not scoring. Tampa's was. And they score. It's Shattenkirk from Hedman and Maroon at 6:34. That's a power play marker for Hedman. He had another assist in this game, didn't he? No, that was his first point. But perfect time to get it. Shattenkirk with the goal. It's his 3rd of the playoffs. I believe they said 2nd of the final for him. So great for him. Killorn's 1st star. Shattenkirk 2nd star. Pavelski 3rd star. No argument with any of them. Killorn had the tying goal here. Shattenkirk had the winner. And Pavelski had 2 goals for Dallas. The shots in this game, they end up favoring Tampa. 8-3 in the first, 15-14 in the second. In the third, Dallas outshoots Tampa 11-8. And in the overtime, Tampa really wanted it. They outshot them 4-2. Final shots 35-30 for Tampa. Hits 57-49 for Tampa. And tomorrow night, they will play again. I would be very surprised if Tampa doesn't win that game and take home their first Stanley Cup since 2004. Power plays, Tampa Bay, 3 for 4. Dallas, 0 for 4. Vasilevsky, 26 saves on 30 shots. I didn't really have a problem with the goals on Vasilevsky. That's why save percentage, while I like to use it, it's not always 100% accurate in terms of showing you who's not playing well. Hudobin saved 30 out of 35. I thought he was the shakier of the 2 goaltenders. So we come through Game 1. Dallas won that one 4-1. Game 2 was a 3-2 victory for Tampa. Game 3 a 5-2 victory for Tampa. And now they win in overtime 5-4. So Tampa Bay now has won 3 in a row. They are just cruising their way to a Stanley Cup. This is one of the most impressive Stanley Cup runs I've ever seen. And considering the circumstances and the time these guys are spending away from their families, you know what? This has been a really, really impressive run for Tampa. And yeah, I mean, I'm still very proud of what Dallas did this year. I'm very proud of the run to the Stanley Cup Finals. But the right team is winning this Stanley Cup Final. This has been a great series for Tampa. And we'll see tomorrow night if Dallas can fight back, but down 3-1 in the Stanley Cup Final. That's not easy to come back from. You've got to look back historically a very long time to find anybody coming back in the Stanley Cup Final from 3-0 or 3-1 down. I say 3-0 because I'm thinking Detroit-Toronto is probably the last time that happened, and that's way, way back in the past. I don't think there's been a 3-1 comeback in the final. Period. 3-0, of course, like I said, Detroit and Toronto, but 3-1, I can't think of one offhand. So I'm sure if it's ever happened, somebody will mention it in the comment section, but I don't think it has. So, Tampa, you have a chance to make history tomorrow night, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll see what kind of an emotional reaction that causes with Stamkos coming out on the ice if that happens tomorrow night to receive the Stanley Cup and how all that works. So, hey, they did this without Stamkos tonight. They'll probably have to do it without Stamkos tomorrow as well, but Tampa just looks unstoppable. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.